Hello, hello. How are we all doing? Doing all right? Are we doing swell? Brilliant. I already know your first thought. What's this posh twat got for me to relate to? He probably could have bankrolled this whole charity event for a call to a sweatless royal. He's probably got some leverage over after some weekend shenanigans. But, you know, I couldn't do that to family. Not again. But I'm not that posh, you see. I'm really not. Because even from my stately home just northeast of Weymouth, I can still smell that dumpster fire we call Portsmouth. And there's no relief on the jaunt either. So we're not that different. What's the jaunt? I hear you ask. Someone's asking about the jaunt. The jaunt is one of my daddy's smaller yachts. I'm kidding. I'm actually not posh at all. I'm really not. Like our resident Geordie tonight, I too grew up in a council house. You know, it was kind of hard being well off when, you know, your father's a Glaswegian and your mother is a farmer's granddaughter who, bear in mind, probably had more family members born on farms than McDonald's burgers. I really don't know where my accent came from either, because like I said, my choices were saying, ooh, proper job, between sips of cider or fucking Glaswegian. Like, who wants those choices? But they were mine, and I didn't pick any of them. But yeah. But I love my parents. My parents are amazing. My mum's a great chef, class A chef, cook, brilliant, honestly. But she was a typical feeder. She really was a typical feeder. And a feeder, for those who don't know, is someone who isn't convinced you've had enough pudding until you've pinged the family portrait off the shelf with your belt buckle. And you guessed it, I grew up chubby. And it wasn't too bad, but it was quite embarrassing, like racing after the ice cream van down the road with your dad. And you could hear like the neighbors betting on who would win. Like, who have you got for this boat? The junkie or the foodie? I think the junkie's got this one, he wants it more. But yeah, other than the occasional bullying at my state school, not private or anything, we also had a nonce teacher. Like, don't worry, I was safe. I was a big bone boy and not the way you imagined my other classmates. Like, as a heavy-set boner killer on campus, he would actively avoid me. But every now and then, I'd catch him near the boys' changing rooms, like skulking in the bushes. And he would lock eyes with me for just a moment. And in that moment, I could feel the disgust in his gaze. Like, I could feel it. And it's fucking silly, but, like, to this day, I just wish he could see me now. And, like, thank you. Just so you could see, like, the healthy young man that I've turned into. And, like, how interested he would be in my physical education. But then I realized it's been over 10 years and I'm probably not his type anymore. But I digress. There was a lot of name calling at school, but unlike Di, I also got hit with a triple F. But this time I wasn't female 40, but I was fat. I was called Furious Fat Ferguson. And the Furious moniker came from is because I could never understand why I was picked behind some of these other kids. Like, you know, we'd be setting up polo. I mean, basketball. That's definitely more common, right? So we'd be setting up basketball. And I could never understand why I was picked behind some of these kids. Like, you know, I was 6'2" and 18 stone at the time. And that's like perfect to play a center in basketball. But yet, it was just me and this boy, Steven, sat next to each other. And Steven was this like really sickly 5'5" kid. And he would get picked before me. And I could never understand it. It would blow my mind. I'd be there raging and I couldn't understand it. Like, I was like, he's 5'5" for fuck's sake. He's 5'5". That's short for a fucking date. Like, let alone a game of basketball. What are you on about? But, yeah, I just couldn't... I forgot to mention, he also had one arm. And he would always get picked before me. You're starting to understand why I was so angry. Like, this guy had one thumb, and I got picked last because I was the only kid who had muffin tops on his ankles. Like, that doesn't make any sense. But I did learn a very valuable lesson that day. is that people don't really care for your drawbacks as long as like you're the one choosing your drawback, especially when you've got like 2 hands to do so, you know, like nom 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 nom. Anyway, I've been Lord Cameron Ferguson. Thank you so much. You've been great tonight. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. Lord Cameron Ferguson! Right.